To this now, the Western Cape High Court has delayed the African Transformation Movement's request to grant it a secret ballot for a vote of no confidence in President Cyril Ramaphosa. In February, you recall that the National Assembly Speaker, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqagula, declined their request for a secret ballot. Let's get the latest now on what transpired in court, and we're joined by ATM President Vuyo Zungula. Mr. Zungula, thank you for your time. Please, will you clarify for us where matters stand in court? There are those suggesting that this matter has actually been struck from the roll of the court, but the suggestion, I think, from your ranks is that there has been some kind of delay. Explain to us which of the two is correct.
Thank you, Coley. What is correct is that the judge said she could not make a determination or a judgment in 48 hours because the motion was set to be debated on the 30th. Now, what it effectively means is that the merits of the case were not even discussed, but it was just a matter of timing. So your wording that this has been delayed, it is the most accurate description to define what has happened, that we are going to withdraw the motion to be debated on the 30th. However, we are still going to proceed to go to court, which we are hoping that by the end of April or May, the court would give us an opportunity for the merits to be discussed and ventilated by our legal representation.
Explain to us the situation, therefore, Mr. Zungula, or what motivated this kind of decision from the judge when the judge says the matter could not be determined within 48 hours. What exactly are the sticking points?
Look, for the judge to have read all of the papers from the applicants as well as the respondents, hear the arguments, and then before the motion was set to be debated on Wednesday, she could not, in her view, be able to do that. That is why she said, based on the fact that we submitted our papers earlier on this month, however, the reason why we had submitted our papers was that back and forth between us and the Speaker. Also, there was a case that the Speaker also said to other parties in the programming committee that those parties must indicate what is their preference for the voting, whether it should be open ballot or secret ballot. Now, that delay from the Speaker, that back and forth, made us to have a delay in us submitting our papers. Now, the judge is of the view that this 48 hours, it is a period that is too short for her to actually apply her mind and make a determination before Wednesday, 2 p.m., when the motion is going to sit.
Mr. Zungula, are you able to give us the judge's exact words? Because there's something I'm not connecting here. Because what you are saying, and it's quite clear that this motion, you are now going to withdraw it from being determined or from being debated on the 30th, and instead what we are going to do is approach the courts whilst at the same time pushing for this for this secret ballot. I'm trying to understand the exact words of the judge, and I'm sorry to do this to you because I'm sitting in studio unable to hear the judgment. Are you able to give us the exact words of the judge, what she said, that either she is holding back on the judgment or she's actually throwing the case out to allow you, I suppose, to go back with a fresh approach to the court?
The courts have what you call have got a role whereby urgent cases can be heard. Now, what the judge had said is that she did not even listen or entertain or have any representations on the merits of the case. It was just a matter of the urgency of the case that we had submitted and whether she could be in a position to make a determination in 48 hours. Therefore, what is struck off the roll, it is the urgency part that it could this case should be heard on Monday whereas the debate is going to be held on a Wednesday. Now, on the merits of the case, whether what we said was incorrect or correct, that is something that is going to be deliberated on at a later stage. However, what the judge said they can't do currently, it is to be in a position to listen to the merits in 48 hours and then make a determination before the debate starts on Wednesday.
Okay, now it's starting to make more sense that the urgency part of the case is what has been struck from the roll. It's what the court has thrown out. But the merits, you are still determined to go forward with them as to the correctness of your move. Make us understand the Speaker's position as to why she does not see it necessary to hold a secret ballot.
What the Speaker is saying is that the environment in Parliament is not toxic, and members of Parliament should be transparent when they are effecting their work. So that is exactly what we are having a problem with, is that firstly, she does not take into account the threat of life that has been out there for members of Parliament, particularly the ones from the ruling party who expose any corruption that has been done by the other members or the executive members of the ruling party. Secondly, she fails to understand that in the current system of voting, whereby a chief whip of a party will stand and say, I'm representing this party, who are so many in Parliament, and this is how we vote. That on its own is not a means of making sure that members of Parliament vote with their conscience, because we are basically voted for because the chief whip, they vote on behalf of a party, his decision. Whereas the court previously in 2017 clearly stated that members need to vote with their own conscience and abide by the oath of office. Now, the system that is currently used now to vote does not allow for that to happen. That is why we as the ATM were sticking on the principle, a principle that was set by the Constitutional Court in 2017, that the members of Parliament ought to vote firstly with their conscience, and they need to abide by the oath of office. Now, the method of voting, when you are doing a vote of no confidence, which you are going to say it must be by a means of an open ballot, clearly takes away what the Constitutional Court had espoused in 2017.
In a way, Mr. Zungula, what you are hoping for, some might suggest, particularly political pundits, is that you are hoping that you could have your secret ballot taken against the president with the anticipation that there are divisions within the ranks of the ANC caucus in Parliament, especially as that party heads to conference at the end of the year, and that perhaps the sentiment against those who are in the faction of the president might go against the president, and basically your motion of no confidence could hinge on whether or not the ANC is going to vote as a unit, or might have some people dissenting enough in order for the president to have a motion of no confidence succeed against him. Am I reading correctly here, or is it too much reading in between the lines?
No, you are incorrect, Polly. We submitted the motion in 2020. It is now 2 years later. We were not even thinking about the divisions of the ANC or the ANC conference. That was not in our mind, and it is still not in our mind. What is in our mind, it is our duty as members of Parliament to hold the executive accountable for their performance when it comes to leading the country. So what we are hoping for is that the Speaker will listen to our argument, and also, let me also repeat that the parties in Parliament have also indicated that their preferred method of voting, it is by means of a secret ballot, because it gives members of parliament the protection they need to actually express themselves without the fear of being victimized by their parties or anyone for that matter. Therefore, what we're hoping for is that the Speaker will allow that to happen so that the members of parliament actually do vote with their conscience and they do vote abiding to the oath of office, which is to put South Africa first.
Final question to you, sir, and a very brief one at that. It's simply a clarity-seeking question. So we have it on record from you that you are going to withdraw the current motion for the date of the 30th of this month. And what is the next move, therefore?
The move is we go to court. The court makes a determination. Based on that determination, we resubmit our request for the Speaker to actually schedule a debate on a motion of no confidence against the President. This is something that happened previously because the court case in Cape Town initially was we had to withdraw the motion then so that we could proceed with the court proceedings. And it is the same thing that is going to happen now, that pending the court proceedings, the motion must be shelved.
That's Vuyo Zungula, the president of the African Transformation Movement.